Hello, if you are with me, it is a little bit after midnight Eastern Standard Time, Buffalo, New York. It is VR, Vera Raccoon, shouting out at ya, kind of quietly, 'cause I am the only one awake. Just got done playing some Marvel Puzzle Quest, and it's been kind of sucky lately. You win all these awards, and you open them up, and it's all shit. It's like, I bust my ass getting all these ranks, and you give me shit. Stuff I have upon stuff I have. You get all these rankings for like these really high vaults, and then you get shit that you already have that's really low on the pole. But I keep playing. I've been playing it since beta. So you'd think I'd have some really cool shit. Now, some of it's really cool, but... So anyway, what y'all doing? I'm stalking ya. It's like Friday, right? For some of ya down under, it's Saturday? Is it? Yeah. I searched my house for black yarn for that damn Demogorgon, and I have no black ink. Or black ink. Black yarn. I found some yarn that's black with little flecks of like yellow and red, and blue in it, and I crocheted a little circle with it to see. I might be able to pull it off with that, so we'll see what happens. What else? Oh, excuse me. Maybe I'll actually get some sleep tonight. Let's hope. I wanted to talk about feelings. An interesting subject, and that was very generalized, but more about being able to advocate for your feelings when someone steps on your feelings. Like, for example, today, if you saw, I posted about my sister, Reader's Digest version. We had made plans back in March when I went up for a visit that she and her two children were going to come down for about 5 or 6 days and visit here in Buffalo. They live in upstate New York. It's about an 8-hour drive, 6 hours for Paul. Speed demon. And there was a very small window because her daughter plays softball, and then she's going to be doing cross country track or something. So the end of July and the first week of August, in that little tiny window, there was time to get together. So she told my son, and I never tell my son anything until the time gets really close, like within a few days, because he will obsess over it and he will bother you about it, and then if plans fall through, then he's gone into a mourning phase, and he obsesses over it even more, like, why didn't they come? So, and that goes on for months. So I don't tell him anything until it's about time to do it. And that goes with everything, like even big plans we have. Oh, excuse me. Sometimes we don't even tell them till we're in the car getting ready to go. Oh, by the way, um, we're going to the water park. Oh, so then her daughter got invited to Maine, which I thought was really cool, and that wasn't a big deal, you know. You get invited to Maine, I'd go too. And then her daughter signed up. Oh, let me digress a little. Her daughter signed up for Warrior Camp, which I think is a local softball thing. I've never heard of it before. She complained the whole time about her daughter being in this. Hello, you're a mother. You can say no. Thing is, you've got to cart her ass all over the place for these practices and games. So I said, okay, so when's that over with? And it still fit within the time frame or something that we were still supposed to get together. So it wasn't really all that big of a deal. Well, then her daughter gets invited to Maine. So she said, I don't think we're going to be able to get together this summer. And I said, you know, I understand stuff comes up. And, you know, again, I said I'd rather go on the trip. And then today, when I was talking with her, I said, through text chat, I said, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. I said, so what are you doing? She goes, well, I'm getting all of Courtney's stuff together for her trip to Maine, and then I have to pack me and Nathan, that's her son, I have to pack our stuff up for camp. Camp? I was confused because she had told me that they didn't have any time. So I said, camp? What do you mean, you're going to camp? And she's like, yeah, I gave Nathan a choice. And since his sister was going to Maine, and he picked camp. Now, I don't know what other choices she gave him. Obviously, Buffalo wasn't one, because I know my sister. So I said, oh, so you ended up having free time anyway. I said, well, that's time that you could have came to Buffalo, but now you're going to camp instead. And she said, well, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get my mother-in-law, because it's a family-owned farm, and they cannot keep workers because my brother-in-law's father's a dick to work for. And she said, but I've got everybody on board, and John, my brother-in-law's brother Billy, is going to take over the milking, because my daughter, what the fuck? My sister does the morning milking with the calves and everything. She takes care of the calves. And I said, well, that's really convenient. I said, you know, it really hurts my feelings that you could have still came, and you managed to make time for camp, and you're not even considering coming here. And she said, well, I didn't know that my daughter was going to get invited to Maine, and I didn't know that she was going to do Warrior Camp. And I said, that has nothing to do with you and Nathan coming to visit. You know, because she tried to throw it back on me, you know, or use her daughter for a scapegoat. I wasn't going to let her get off that easy, you know. So I said, that has nothing to do with anything. You still have the same amount of days available to come here for your visit. I said, you're the one that said, you know, back in March that you were going to come. You're the one that told my son that you were going to come for a visit. And she's like, I never said that. It was never set that I was going to come. I'm like, Yes, you did. And I quoted the conversation. And I said, the whole point is, if you look at it from my point of view, I live 8 hours away. My sisters live in close proximity to my mom and dad. Like, Darcy lives just down the road. Christy, my older sister, lives about 30 minutes away. And so whenever anybody comes to visit my mom, they all get to see them. I am not that lucky where I get to see people. And my sister Christy has only ever been here twice. And both times it was to tell me she was pregnant with her children. Please. No, I'm sorry. One time was to tell me she was pregnant with a child, and the other time was for my baby shower for my pregnancy with my son. So I said, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to ask you any more. I said, because nothing is more disappointing than having someone tell you they're going to come and then they don't come. And I told her that she really hurt my feelings, and she's like, I'm sorry you're hurt. And she didn't mean it, you know. And I said, well, it is what it is. I said, because I had to do this through text because she won't answer her phone. That's real mature. I said, I'm no longer doing invitations. I'm not. The only one that comes is my mom and dad. And I always leave everybody the invitation open. You know, if you'd like to come and visit, there's a lot to do. Like the last couple times I've had her here, she's always like, well, make sure you make plans for us because we're not just going to sit around. That's not what we come to do. So my husband takes a week off. Well, last time she came for a week. She came with my parents. And Paul made all these plans for us to do. And she didn't want to do anything. So he took a whole week off for no reason. It was a waste of his time. The only thing they ended up doing was we went to Niagara Falls for the day, and that was the only thing that she wanted to do. We had boat tours set up and everything. So then after a while, she stopped texting me, and I texted her saying, I do hope you have a good time while you're at camp, and I hope the weather is good. Please make sure you take pictures. And I got back a really? And I said, just because you hurt my feelings and made the wrong decision, because it was the wrong decision, just because you made the wrong decision, or, you kind of led me on. If you don't want to come, just say you don't want to come. Don't make shit up. I said, I still would like you to have a good time. I mean, I'm not going to carry grudges. If she's feeling guilty, that's her issue, not mine. I had my say, and I noticed that people don't like it when you are assertive and an advocate for yourself. In the past, I haven't been able to advocate for myself. Growing up, every time I tried to stand up for myself with my parents, I either shot down or they'd twist things around to make it like everything was my fault, and I would cry. I would choke from crying so hard that I couldn't get the words out. And I would write them letters instead and slip it under their door when they were sleeping,
so that I wouldn't have to deal with it for the rest of the night. And just recently when I went back for a visit, my mom said, I still have every single letter you ever wrote. And every once in a while I read them. See, that's holding a grudge. And I was a kid. You know, I was like, well, you wouldn't have listened to me any other way because all you did was make me cry. So I'm just trying to give you a piece of advice here. Tell people how you feel, you know, and you don't have to be a douchebag about it. There are ways, and if you're really angry with someone and you're not sure it's going to come out right, you don't have to deal with it right away. Take a little time to think about what you're going to say. If you're angry or upset, get it out. Vent to us on Vero, or, you know, write in a journal, or go to the gym, or go for a walk, whatever. You know, as long as you're not hurting yourself or somebody else, and then deal with it. Maybe write down what you want to say. Call the person, see them face to face, text them, whatever works for you. Don't hold on to it, you know. In the long run, you'll feel much better. And people will be less likely to try to bully you into, you know, thinking that you're the one that's wrong. You know, they try to turn the tables on you. And your feelings are just as valid, you know. My parents would make me feel like what I am feeling isn't right. Now, who are they to decide what's right for me, what feels right? They can't. Only you know how you feel. And the more you assert yourself, the less likely people are going to push you around and treat you like shit. And if they respect you enough, they're going to be like, wow, you know, maybe I should think next time before I speak or do something. And then you've got the people that are like, fuck you. Well, those fuckers can go to the door. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split ya. Kapow! It's not always easy to do that. It took me a long time and a lot of therapy to realize that I'm worthy enough to be able to do that. And so are you. You're worth it. You're Maybelline and you're worth it. Or L'Oreal. It's a hair coloring or makeup that says you're worth it. Well, I'm saying you're worth it. Don't let people walk all over you. Because if you let them walk all over you, they're going to do it your whole life. And my parents always knew that, and I say my parents, it's mostly my mom. My mom always knew that she could get me to cry. So she would, you know, use that tactic so that I would shut up and listen. Guess what, Mom? I wasn't really listening. Because what was going on in my head were various ways of torturing you. Alright, I'm going to close this one out because that's what I wanted to share. And I may do another one. This one was a little more serious. I tried not to joke too much. That's hard for me. And I stayed focused because I didn't have any music going on. And I am saying bye-bye for now from Buffalo. And I will be back. And I say I'm going to be right back, but sometimes I get sidetracked. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.